Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2021 mid-month general reading. We are looking at the last 2 weeks of December, the last 2 weeks of the year 2021, and this reading is for the earth sign of Taurus. Welcome everyone. I hope you're all doing well as we're transitioning through the end of the year and the holiday season. I hope you all have lovely, safe, peaceful holidays. So thanks for watching this video, for all that you do in support of this channel. Like, share, subscribes, donations, feedback, comments, reaching out for personal readings. I'm grateful for all of it. Thank you. So this reading is for Taurus, the earth sign of Taurus, the last 2 weeks of December 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Taurus. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Taurian. Of course, it's a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little differently. For everyone, watch all of your signs for any additional insight and perspective to help put it together for you. And if you find that something does resonate with you enough that you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else. We are in that big gift-giving holiday season, and personal readings do make great gifts for people. If you're interested, you can click on the description link below. Click on that little arrow. You'll see my email address there, maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me directly. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings. And particularly popular also this time of year are the overviews I do, 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at all the main areas of life for the next 6 or 12 months, which you can order at any time, as I always say, but they are, I always get a lot of requests for them this time of year and in January, as we're transitioning out of an old year and entering a new one, so something to think about. Okay, Taurus. Let's see what's in store for you for the last 2 weeks of December. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. We begin with the Three of Wands. Feeling more positive, hopeful, and optimistic about the future. Waiting for your ships to come in. With the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords can represent feeling stuck, a reluctance and a resistance to looking at something head on, because if you do, you will likely have to make a choice or choose a path of some kind. This combination of cards, Taurus, is kind of a bit like, ignoring the 800-pound gorilla in the corner of your living room. You know it's there, you dust around it, but as long as you don't look at it directly, you don't have to deal with it, right? Kind of a head stuck in the sand sort of energy. For some of you, it could also be that you're waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to manifest, but not really doing anything to actually make that happen. Next to that, we have the Epiphany, the Ace of Swords. This is actually seeing something in a brand new perspective, in the actual real light of what it is. The Ace of Swords can represent, one of the classical definitions of the Ace of Swords is success. Success that comes from illumination or seeing something for what it really is, a new epiphany, a new idea, a new perspective on something. The success comes from, because sometimes when we see something further in the reality of what it is, we all of a sudden see something in a clear light, right? And if that thing is not the thing that we thought it was or wanted it to be, that can be kind of difficult. But the success part of the Ace of Swords is that in that energetic moment or time, you have the ability to make different choices and choose different paths and make changes to create a better and healthier reality for yourself. With the Ace of Swords is the Three of Swords, because swords is governed by the element of air, which governs our intellectual landscape. Here we have the Three of Swords, which is a card of heartbreak, heartache, disillusionment, disappointment, emotional pain, separation. Yeah, this feels like maybe kind of fooling yourself for a little bit about something, someone, person, place, or situation, but then something happens or you suddenly see everything in the truth of what it is, and it's painful or it's difficult to deal with, or you look at a situation and think, this is going to break my heart. Next to that, we have the Page of Cups, little light messages, little messages of love, flirtatious messages. With the Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior card. Now, tens represent cycle completion, a cycle achieving itself, coming full circle. So here we're very close to the end of what has been perhaps a very difficult cycle. This we call it the Wounded Warrior card because it often represents a soldier that's, been through a number of battles and is wounded, and all he wants to do is just kind of get home. But yet here's this one more challenge, one more hurdle or obstacle. And this is the point where you sit down and go, oh, I'm so tired. I just want to be done with this. I don't know how to get through this, or even if I want to get through this. This may be relationship oriented for some of you, even many of you, because this is like the same old thing over and over and over again. And the person comes back and goes, but this, and I promise. And you're just like, yeah, I just not into it. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy is the Knight of Cups, who comes charging in to offer his cup of love. It's an offer, an opportunity for change that's love-driven or support and encouragement-driven as well. See what the next card after that, the King of Swords. They may be an air sign, male or female. I mean, really, they could be any sign. It's a general reading, so... Yeah, this feels like somebody coming in to make promises. They sound really good. They make you feel really hopeful and positive, and then bam, you're like, no, not again. Let's clarify. Let's clarify the Knight of Cups. Knights are awesome. I mean, charge, right? They're always on a mission and a quest. They tend to be very single-minded and focused when they're in the process of going for the thing, right? The mission, the quest. The problem with knights, or the challenge with knights often, is that they haven't yet matured to the king and queen energy, and they tend not to be too stable. They come and they go. They always have an eye out for the next thing, right? When they've accomplished what they've accomplished, and they're often running to the next thing or looking for the next thing. The challenge is in the staying power. It's like the Knight of Cups, which is the Knight of Water, of emotion. He's in love with love itself. He believes everything he's saying in the heat of the moment. But the challenge is in the long-term follow-through, sometimes with knights. Let's clarify that. The Seven of Swords, which I sometimes call my sneaky thief card, can be positive or it can be challenging. It represents doing something undercover or concealment. It can represent theft, exploitation, deception, lying, sneaking. But fundamentally, it represents somebody who has something they want. They want to gain, acquire, maintain. There's an objective, right? There's motives here. And they feel that in order to achieve whatever the thing is, whatever the objective is, they need to do things in secret. Their thoughts, their ideas, their actions, their plans, keeping it in secret because that's how they can achieve their goals, right? So that's fundamentally what that means, doing something undercover. With the Two of Swords, we have the Two of Swords twice. This is stuck, not wanting to look at something because then you'd have to actually take action, make a decision, change. The Tower card. Big events, maybe unexpected events, or big events which cause something to break down. This, or potentially change a life path. So on the surface, this Knight of Cups is charging in, I will do this, I will be this, whether it's love and romance or just somebody else. This feels like a cycle here, right? Here's my offer. And with the Three of Wands and the Two of Swords, you're like, yeah, that looks really good. I'm going to wait for that. But you're really just not looking at it clearly because you don't want to. Because that Knight of Cups has that energy, but then secretly, he has absolutely no intention of making any changes that is going to cause major upheaval in his or her life. For example, because this may very well be the story for some of you, It could be that you're involved with dating, seeing somebody who's attached or married, and they keep saying, I'm going to leave my person, I'm going to, do all this stuff. Or it could be somebody who's in an addictive cycle or something of some sort. And who comes in promising the moon and the stars, and they'll change and they're going to make these major changes, but in fact they have no intention of doing so. Knights will do whatever they have to do because they tend to be very fanatical and obsessive because they have that mission, that quest, right? Until it's completed, and then they're off. Clarify the Three of Wands. Waiting for your ships to come in. Kind of waiting for a bright, positive future. The Empress, which is a card of fertility, of giving birth, whether it's actual birth or giving birth to new things. It's a card of abundance, of being surrounded by all of these lovely, wonderful, beautiful, sensual things, a full and abundant harvest. Clarify the Two of Swords. What are you not seeing? What are you ignoring? Or what do you not want to look at? What are you stuck at? The Ten of Swords. Betrayal, heartache, exploitation, feeling thrown under the bus, complete disappointment. But it represents an end, right? Because tens represent cycle ending. So the Ten of Swords is next to the Three of Swords. For any kind of relationship, we never really like to see these cards. But this is what you don't want to look at. Perhaps this potential, or the fact that this person isn't really being forthright and open with you. Clarify the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is the light bulb going off over your head, the epiphany, the wake-up call, right? The seeing something in a fresh, new perspective. Perhaps the reality of what it is rather than what you've been wanting it to be. The Five of Swords, a hard-won victory. Winning at all costs, a very ambitious card. It could represent that Knight of Cups as well. And the Six of Swords, slowly but surely moving away from... This is a card of healing. It's putting the worst behind you and getting on a path of healing and moving into a place that's more stable and serene rather than the choppy, muddy waters behind you. It's transitional. It's healing, meaning the worst is behind you. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you're moving towards then. So even though this truth, this new perspective might be difficult for you, it puts you on a path of healing, right? Because we have kind of a progression in terms of the swords here. We have, the Ace of Swords, which is, seeing the light. But then we have the Two of Swords, which is, I don't want to see it because then I have to take action somehow. But then next to that is the Three of Swords, which is, okay, well, and here comes the heartbreak or the heartache or the separation or the pain, right? Let's clarify that Three of Swords. But the fact that this feels cyclical, I haven't seen the Devil card yet, but it feels like a cycle, and it feels like a cycle that you're just like fed up with. But, cycles are difficult to break because there's something about it that we have this voice in our head saying, oh, we need this thing, or we can't let go of it because, fill in the blank, right? The Eight of Cups, leaving, walking away, leaving behind that which is not fulfilling. I feel like this is I feel like this is something you kind of knew all the time, but not like literally looking at it and seeing it in the cold but truthful light of day, right? And after going through that, you can't unsee that. So if you continue to stay in this, you're going to do it with your eyes open, knowing what's coming, right? Which is, pain, betrayal, kind of feeling exploited or thrown under the bus, stabbed in the back kind of energy, because this person, it feels like you're dealing with someone who isn't being honest about what they really intend, right? Again, whether this is love and romance or whether it's a boss or whether it's a a partner, a friend, a child, an adult child, or something like that, right? This person is caught in a cycle that not only are they not able to break at this time, they're not even willing to. But they want to stay on your good side and your good graces, you know, with you, etc. Let's clarify the Page of Cups. Just jumped right out. The Three of Wands again. So here's this message, this Page of Cups, this Page of Emotion going, but our future will be lovely, I promise, you know. The Four of Wands, the Two of Cups. I promise, we'll get married. You're my soulmate. You're my, you know. Let's clarify that Nine of Wands, being very close to the end of a difficult cycle. Feeling discouraged, feeling like giving up. Not sure if you should keep going or even if you want to keep going. You're tired of these kind of messages repeating. Oh, I love you. Oh, I'll do better. Oh, this. Oh, we'll have this great future. Oh, it'll be, you know. The High Priestess, this is paying attention to your intuition, your connection with spirit, you know. This is that knowing. Some people call it gut instinct. Some people call it higher self. And here comes that 10 of Wands. It's time to lay this burden down. It's gotten too heavy, too overwhelming. The Three of Swords again, heartache, heartbreak, separation. I mean, it looks quite challenging, and you know, the holiday seasons can be challenging enough without kind of having this stuff, but that's how it, I mean, that's how life works sometimes. So, you know, again, just to recap, this feels cyclical, meaning this is not the first time this has come up. And somebody is coming in and promising, you know, the sun, the moon, the stars, whatever it is that they believe that you want in order to get their thing, which is, you know, to stay with you, to stay on your good side, to keep you there, you know, regardless of the nature of the relationship. And you pretty much kind of know, you have this knowing of how this is going to work out and what's really behind the curtain. But for a minute, like we tend to do with people, places, and situations that we're attached to, you allow yourself to believe it, and in order to do that, you have to like put blinders on and not see anything else. But in fact, you do see that. You do see what's going on, and you do see what's going to continue to happen if you allow this to continue to happen, because what we allow to continue will continue. And then they kind of come back in with all these promises and lovely words, and you're this, and I love, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. But you're just, it feels like you're fed up with it. Whether or not you make a decision, what decision you make is unclear. It just feels like, and we're only looking at a short period of time. You know, maybe you don't want to deal with this during the holiday season, fair enough, but this looks like how it's sort of playing out during the last 2 weeks of the year. It doesn't look like perhaps you make a definitive decision. Maybe you do, maybe some of you do. It's a general reading, so that's going to vary. Anyway, so I mean, you know, there's that saying, the truth will out anyway, right? That Ace of Swords, even if you choose to ignore it, it will come back around again. I mean, you can't really, once the truth has been revealed, it's there. It's in your head. It's in your heart. So it's about making a decision, moving forward with your eyes wide open either way you go. So I'm going to end with some advice and guidance, Taurus. There's definitely an offer on board, or an opportunity on board, or at least one that's being presented to you, even though it feels like a false one to me. Advice and guidance from Spirit, the Four of Cups. Somebody who's looking at the offer but not making a move to take it. The Nine of Pentacles, independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment. Somebody who doesn't need to rely or depend on anybody else for their happiness and fulfillment. It's a very independent card. You're better off on your own. Because this is a sort of the situation, as you allow it to continue time and time again, it can break down that lovely self-confidence and self-empowerment. You don't need that. It's pretty clear here that Spirit is saying you're best off kind of on your own, or just focusing on yourself, right? In some way, shape, or form. Your own stability, your own security, your own abundance, your own indulgence. You don't need to be taking this offer, at least not at this time. Not until this person has something more concrete than this lower level water energy, right? Something more stable and concrete. There actually isn't even, there's really nothing in the earth energy area of life which represents, stability and security other than the Nine of Pentacles in your advice. So for what it's worth, that's what it is. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Taurus. Like I sometimes say, this isn't one of those readings I can say, I hope you enjoy this, because this looks like a difficult and challenging situation that most, if not all of us, have been through at least once in our life. But I hope that the messages have brought some clarity or validation, or at least some food for thought. So in that sense, I hope it's been useful for you. Again, if any of this resonates with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, maybe take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, click on the description link below for contact details. My email address is maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you, and I'd love to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the January 2022 readings, the first general readings of a brand new year. May it be significantly less challenging than the last couple of years. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, and I hope I see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.